So, last week we showed you nice sunny skies and our first Mercedes acquisition. This week
Of the year.
of the year. This week we're giving you a bit more of a taste of what the weather is really like here in Ireland, and our latest Mercedes acquisition.
Help, 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 help. Go on, sir, go on.
Get up them stairs!
Skip.
Get him up, move him on, let him in, let him on, let him up, bro. Hi!
Oh, hi.
So, this is our, and by our I mean the camera ladies, yeah, the camera ladies car, a Mercedes 190E. In my opinion, the greatest Mercedes-Benz ever made.
That's a big statement.
That is a big statement, but that is how passionately I feel about the 190E.
It certainly was an important car for Mercedes-Benz. It was their answer to the 3 Series.
Did the 3 Series not come first?
Yeah, that's
Or
something.
no, did the 190 not come first?
No. Well, not the E30 came after this, but the 3 Series.
Oh, the older 3 Series was first? Right, okay.
Mercedes didn't want to make a small car.
I hope that like the microphone picks up what Kirsty said, because I'll put captions on at the bottom just to be like, oh fuck, that's all stoled.
Well,
You were saying, Colin?
they were responding to the 3 Series anyway. It doesn't matter which 3 Series.
A 3 Series.
Basically, they didn't want to build a small car, but BMW were doing very well with a small car.
And Mercedes decided, we can do it better, so we're gonna.
Basically.
And they gave us the mighty 190.
They came out with this. They spent 600 million Deutschmarks on this. BMW were still using the technology from the 02 series of the 60s by the time this came out.
Seriously?
Well, it was updated, but it was still
And what came first, this or the 124?
this.
This. So they literally just went into Photoshop and scaled it up. We're like, ah, 124, that'll
Get
do.
rid of some of the lines and stuff.
Yeah. We'll give it slightly different brake lights, that'll shut them up.
Yeah, make it a wee bit different. One extra grille chrome
Wow.
on the 124.
There you go, but
you go.
you're getting all of the Virginic facts in this one.
You're gonna know.
You're going to impress so many people down at the pub at the next pub quiz whenever you're allowed to have them again. Anyway, let's actually talk about this exact Mercedes 190. So this was purchased from a good friend of mine, and probably now yours, because
Yeah.
he sold you guys this. And how long was it up for?
Not long,
Not long,
about a week.
about a week. Why am I just repeating everything you say?
About a week.
I think it's in case the microphone doesn't pick it up. I'm so used to the start of our videos, like back in the day, whenever it just would not pick up a word you said. So I basically had to repeat everything.
Good audio now.
Oh, look at us. Hey, we have rolling in Benzes, we got better audio. Unreal.
Flying.
But anyway, so yes, this was purchased for the grand sum of,
£1,100.
and it was listed for
1,400.
14. Value.
Good value.
Yeah, and we didn't even need to bring Ryan Dowd along to deal on it. We actually did it ourselves.
Go us.
Well, I did, but yeah, go us. So, Connor, you know nerdy things about Mercs. What are we looking at here?
So this one's the 2 litre. So it's 2 litre injected 190E, which is basically your bread and butter. Like that's the most common one sold for the 190s.
Because it
Yeah.
was actually fast enough to pull you out of bed, unlike your old 1.8, which
My-
even though it was so slow, you still managed to crash.
Give you a wee fact about the 1.8.
Right, go ahead.
Didn't exist until the run-out years, until after 1990, I think.
So they developed a new engine for a run-out year.
Just same engine, but instead of bored out, bored in.
We've got some leftover metal in the shed, boys.
Put it back in.
Put it back in.
Yeah.
With a Loctite around the pistons, be grand.
And yeah, so that's why they did the 1.8. I don't know why. They thought people would like a smaller engine.
And how did that go?
I think I sold a few of them. I bought one.
I mean, you bought one whenever they were like 1,500 quid as opposed to the 30,000-40,000 pound investment it would have been back then.
Somebody bought one. I can provide you with some figures for the editing. We'll put them under his screen.
Yeah, and there will be some more interesting videos on the sideline here if you want to just click into one of them. So, the colour. This is Almandine Red, well, Almandine Rot, which it is in German, which is a fitting for an old German Mercedes. And it's actually the second car of our fleet to come in this colour.
Yep.
The first one I originally purchased was a 124, which Connor then killed. And then...
It's not dead yet.
No, you didn't kill it. The Earth wanted it to return back to it. That's a poetic way of saying it's dead. But yes, this is the second one in the fleet to have this colour. But what's really interesting about this, I think, is how well spec'd it is for such a low spec model.
Yeah.
Talk us through some of the things.
So this one's got full leather interior, which is very rare for a 190. For a base spec 190, of course, the Cosworths all sort of came in leather.
They came like the tartan leather or something, didn't they?
Something like that, yeah.
Gorgeous. But not as nice as this.
Yeah, cream leather, which really, really suits the red. It's got cruise control, which is something, again, I haven't really seen outside of an S-Class of this era.
No, I don't think many cars at the time had it at all. I mean, obviously American yokes did because their roads are bigger than our towns.
Yeah, but it was a very expensive option.
Yeah.
If you were in the market for a 190, you wouldn't have been in the market for cruise control or leather.
No, you'd have bought an S-Class.
Uh-huh.
Well, was there an in-between? Ah, you'd have bought a 123. What am I on about?
Yeah.
Of course there was. You'd have bought a fancier model, like.
Yeah. So, interesting one, interestingly spec'd. Automatic, which most of them were.
It's a very smooth gearbox for such a cheap car.
They were a fantastic gearbox.
They were, their manuals were dog shite, like.
Some people do say that, yeah.
The person that drove one says that, yeah.
How many miles did you do in that car?
Nearly as many as you did. The automatic box in this is fantastic. The kickdowns are pretty much instantaneous.
Well, the thing about Mercedes, here's another fun fact for you. Mercedes have only ever made about 7 or 8 automatic boxes from...
Ever. So there's only like 7 or 8 of these with an automatic gearbox. Unreal, boy. We're sticking her up for 20 grand.
The workers at the automatic gearbox factory are really, really bored. Yeah, so the gearbox in this is the same one from the S-Class. It's the same, you know.
Ah, okay. So that's why it's consistently good.
I think you didn't get a better one because you bought a better car. Same with the crash safety and everything. They engineered this to be as safe in a crash as their S-Class. That was one of the requirements.
And this was the car that effectively saved Mercedes-Benz in the US at the time.
People do say that, yeah.
Because they were going bankrupt, well, not quite bankrupt, but like they really weren't doing well. Probably just in comparison to BMW.
They were losing out to BMW.
Probably because there's a lot more dickheads in America and BMW is a dickhead's brand.
Well, it's like this, right? You got into the 80s. Yeah.
You got into the 80s. You had a good time.
You got into the 80s. Everyone wanted a flash car, and
the baby Benz was the one.
Well, that's it. I mean, if you think young people were buying the 3 Series BMWs,
because they were drivers' cars. Oh, I feel the ultimate driving machine.
And if a young person starts driving a BMW 3 Series, they'll buy a 5 and then they'll buy a 7.
That's just as they get older.
It's like that, and that's the way it is. But if you can start them in a 190, they'll buy an E-Class and then an S-Class.
Right.
So
if I buy a Corolla,
yeah,
I'm going to wind up in a Celica and then eventually I'll have a GT1.
No, you're going to buy a Camry and then you're going to buy a Crown.
And then you're going to buy some glasses and then you're going to buy a hearing aid.
And everything's going to be beige.
And everything will be beige. Speaking of a beigey sort of colour, look at the gold.
It's like rose gold.
Nothing says baller 1980s like gold trim.
Yeah. It suits this red so much. And there's one local to us which has black. Mine had black because it was white. So it.
Oh, you mean?
Yeah, black.
Like it's this colour but with black.
Mm-hmm,
so black. This was actually by choice.
I don't know. It's not on options lists, so
that's really strange because the maroon 124 that we had has
the gold.
I wonder if it was a drug dealer thing at the time. I want the gold trim.
There's a special box on the checklist.
It's in a suitcase out the back or inside your coat. It's a white options list.
It doesn't say drug dealer, but you take that and.
Oh, is that the one that comes with the bullet casings on the back? So, iconic features of the 190 Benz. Obviously, it starts with the grille. It doesn't get much more iconic of a grille than this. And I don't care. The BMW guys are going to come in again and say, but where's the kidney grille? Shove your kidneys back in your body where they belong. Because that is a grille. And there's something so intimidating but also kind of calming, but probably because usually if there's this behind me, it's because you're behind me.
Calming element. Breakdown assistance.
There you go. So yeah, the grille and headlights are definitely the starter point. Like there's nothing better than that being in your front view. And even at nighttime, even though it's not lit up, it seems to be you can always see it.
Yeah, it silhouettes itself.
Next up, I think it's fair to say the mono wiper.
86% coverage of the windscreen.
And it does the thing because they realized that if they just did it in one sweep, it wouldn't catch as much.
Car companies did, didn't they? Somebody else had a wiper that was just basic. Was it one of the French ones?
I don't know.
Somebody did, and it wasn't as good.
Probably isn't French. It's probably going to be like our Nelly Furtado reference where it's actually somewhat completely different and we just look like dicks for saying it. But yeah, the mono wiper, they over-engineered the hell out of this as well, so that when it went round, it would go up to meet each corner of the windscreen, giving a perfect swipe as it goes along. And I don't know why they did, because realistically, like, they didn't need to do that.
But they did.
2 wipers have worked for many, many years, like.
Yeah.
And you'd swear they were so adamant that their idea was great because they like put it on to every model for like 10 years afterward, maybe even 20. It was early 2000s, like.
Yeah, it was on there to the early 2000s.
Yeah, so I don't know why they were so determined to make it work, but they did. And then they got rid of it after all those years, even though it was kind of a defining feature of a Benz, was a mono wiper.
Yeah, for a time in the early 2000s, that was it.
That was it. You had people putting them onto their DTM spec cars to make it look like one, but we all know it was a Mercedes spec, like it wasn't DTM spec. Nope. Although that could be why. I mean, this was for racing pretty much, wasn't it? It was originally for Group B, which didn't happen because everybody went four-wheel drive.
They wanted a Group B car.
Yeah.
And then the Quattro turned up.
So they decided a 4-door sedan was a good Group B car. Because even before the Quattro came along, you had the Opel Manta, you had the Renault 5, you had some kind of Alpine probably. Who thought a 4-door sedan was going to be competitive against these purpose-built race cars? Like,
bet they would have done it.
They would have done. They probably would have done. Because also as well, you have to think, the M3 was a 2-door and kicked ass in DTM, but not as much ass as this. And this is a 4-door and it still kicked ass. I don't know what the relevance is, I just wanted to put it out there. The quirks of this exact car, I think we need to talk about.
That it was owned by an old person for...
Yeah, we should have made that clear at the start. This was owned by a pensioner, like.
Yeah.
And it shows that they didn't have the gift of sight any longer.
It had left the body.
Sight had left the chat.
Gone.
So all around the car, there are numerous little scrapes and dings and scratches, and on the back there's a rather big one.
It presents very well.
The spoiler held on with sealant.
It's gone.
It's gone now. But I liked it. I thought it was good, but he didn't, so whatever. You didn't, and it's your car, so what?
I liked it. It was terrible.
It was better than the 3 bird shit marks on the back.
No, they're better.
No. But anyway, yes, so because of the fact it was owned by an Irish fella who I'm told was a bit of a hoarder, and the shed was so packed that he scraped this every time he reversed it out of the shed.
Fair play to him for garaging it.
He had the best of intentions, just not the best of...
It's not rotten, that's the thing. If he'd parked it outside...
Well, we jumped onto that. It's not rotten.
But if he'd parked outside, it would have been rotten now. But as it is, it was parked inside and has dings, so...
I mean, I take minor bodywork dings on bolt-off panels than not having floors, which I'm dealing with at the minute, so... So yeah, there's a couple of little quirks inside. The centre vents are, I believe, filled in with cloth.
They were when we got it.
I think that's of you taking that out. Now the centre vents in quite a lot of German cars actually, RT4 does it, Mercs all do it. It only blows out cold air, and it's to what?
Just fresh air coming through.
Oh, I thought it was for like drowsiness or something like that.
I suppose it would help with that too. If you were getting tired, you'd get...
Yeah, you'd always have a cold vent there, like. But obviously the old man didn't like it, and he stuffed the fence with rags to try and stop the cold air coming out.
My brown car had a wood screw screwed into the fence to keep them shut. Like, just old people owning these cars. Just
Some people don't like the cold.
No.
He was probably thinking it was death behind him.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why he got the 2 litre. He was trying to escape death. 1.8 wouldn't have got away on time.
Nope.
Are there any other quirks on the inside? There's
It's
a
fairly-
switch missing.
Which?
Whereas there's the heated rear window switch, and then there's like a blank beside it.
Oh, that's a
just
blank on all of
empty.
them.
Oh, so he just didn't like blanks either. He didn't want to be reminded that he was poor, so he just took all the blanks out.
Took the blank, left the hole.
If I can't have a switch, I'll have none.
Void.
Void.
It's got full electric windows all around. My 1.8 had windy windows at the back.
Ooh, I didn't remember that. It's got full electric everything.
Yeah.
It's got a working sunroof.
It's got a sunroof that tilts and slides.
Tilt and slide, my dude. Because we've never had a Mark really with it. We've had one that'll open and then you have to get into the boot, open the flap and crank it round yourself to close it again.
I know.
Thankfully, this is not like that. What else we got? We should probably move to the back of the car to look at some of the more interesting parts of the car.
This car's been debadged, bro.
It's got a badge delete, yeah, as well as a structural integrity delete. I like to think someday he just got really, really annoyed and he was just like, and then, I like to think he was that strong.
I tell you what he probably did was just touch the accelerator when he was reversing.
Too much. And just,
But anyone who's had one of these knows that.
oh, anyone who's anyone. Anyone who's anyone knows this.
Only our 190 owners are the real viewers.
All 5 of them.
Anyone who's owned a 190 or a 124, and probably a 126, knows that if you put it in reverse and touch the accelerator, it will just straight back. So I imagine that's what happened here.
Just bang straight into the wife.
It's got
Got
a
it, man.
it's got a 999 dead on arrival or dead or alive reg. It's got the worst tow bar.
That's
I've
not
seen.
the worst.
I know yours was bad on the Golf, but
And yours has even got a condom on it to keep it safe. Because you always got to be protected.
it's,
Always.
It's
Here, it's not worth the risk on it. You never know what might
Don't
happen.
do it.
Don't, just don't.
It's
It's extra
got
thick as well.
it's got exhaust that's not for it,
Yep, and
It's
it
got-
literally looks like somebody's Tadger just...
and they've sawed through the back bumper underneath to let this exhaust that's not for this. It could be a 124 exhaust. I'm not really decided, but
I don't know if it is.
it doesn't look like it even.
Doesn't look it. And you can see along here the 3 spots where the spoiler that everybody except this bollocks here liked was. And now it's no longer.
It was terrible looking.
It wasn't terrible. It looked racy.
No.
This thing had visions of DTM speed and you just ruined it.
Made it better.
Made it better. It was a rainbow. It's gotta be a rainbow.
What?
Anyway.
This car was sold new in Weston Supermare in
Pentagon.
Somerset.
Did they stop selling cars in like 2001?
That's bad.
Yeah. If it was sold in Pentagon, you had a 911 plate. You can just see us getting progressively wetter and
I
wetter
know.
as the video goes on.
It does have one bit of rot over here in
What's
the
over
C-pillar.
here? Come on then,
Look at that.
have a butchers.
Just behind the C-pillar vent, which is where they're prone to going. So that'll have to be sorted.
It's not that bad. Can't take 2.
Well, sure, that's it.
Sure, if I can't take 2, then sure, it's barely a hole. So, being quite honest, there's actually very, very little wrong with this car.
It was a good purchase.
I mean, we did have an eventful trip home.
We'd seized caliper on that side.
Yeah, it hadn't been driven very much by the person we bought it from or really the previous owner. And I think the shock to the system of experiencing 40 miles per hour might have actually scared it a wee bit. And it was like, I want to go back to Derry. But some careful butchering at the side of the road with not even a hammer, but a wheel brace and a jack,
Just
which
mashed
was...
it.
I'm better equipped now, put it that way, but
It's not given bother since.
has it not? Well, there you go, quid's
Some
in,
job.
that's the way to fix it. So apart from those wee gremlins, this is one hell of a car for 1100 quid.
Tell you what went wrong with it.
Oh God. I was kind of trying to end on a happy note there.
It's going to be a happy note.
Oh, it's good.
It was stalling coming up to junctions. So this would be good if anyone owns one of these that's stalling coming up to junctions.
Pure, just trying to be a communist at every turn off. It's like, no, everyone must have an equal chance of pulling out. Stalling. Okay, sorry. Did it take you that long to get it?
What?
Go.
Now, being a cruise control equipped car, it's got a hall speed sensor behind the instrument cluster.
Does it have a note speed sensor as well? Or is it just a whole one?
No.
Tell us.
And actually, a common enough fault on these was that one little solder in the hall speed sensor gets loose, and that's what it causes. So we got a new one for 25 quid and put it in, and that was it. Problem fixed. So if your 190 is stalling,
I wonder who got the power back.
I wonder who cut out of the junction.
Anyway, go ahead.
So if your 190 is stalling and it's got cruise control, check that
Check it.
before you wreck it.
Yeah. That rainbow's gotten even better. Look at that for a happy shot of the 190. Beautiful.
Some evening.
So I know this is only a quick wee video, but like we're just getting soaked here. Like we had to get something up this week, but we're just getting drenched. So there's literally no point. That rainbow's got even stronger. Actually, that's really
That's
cool.
a strong rainbow.
That is a strong rainbow. I kind of thought you were going to pan up and get it in, but wow, that was quick.
That's a quick look.
We should tell that anecdote.
No.
I think we actually explained that
I think we did
story
in
in
the
the podcast.
Yeah.
But for those who don't know, that's a quick look is now like a running joke with us. Well, you can tell the story because it's about a car you were going to look at.
Of course, it was a W16 S-Class, and we arrived there, and the person who was selling it wasn't there, which is always a
we
red
had
flag.
arranged, and they were meant to be there.
Yeah.
And we got there, and the person had no idea who they were.
Yeah.
That's
Which is always a good sign when you're buying a car.
Yeah.
And
Well, the car also had bullet holes in it, so that kind of says a lot about the caliber of the car and the person that owned it.
yeah.
But go on.
And we said, "Oh, can we have a quick look then?" And she said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And about 20 seconds later,
No, it was about a minute and a half.
yeah.
About
That's a
minute
quick
and
look.
half. Yeah.
Get out.
So yeah, that's why now anytime somebody says we'll have a quick look, we're just like, right, that's a quick look, let's go. But anyway, yeah, so this is a quick look at our, well,
Haha.
Chrissy's new Mercedes 190e. Is there even any plans with it?
It'll be respread at some point, will it? Yeah.
She's shaking her head in approval.
Yeah, well, it'll be resprayed and filled to get all the old man dings out of it.
Old man dings. That sounds like a ska band. The old man ding. But yeah, it's a daily. It's now officially a daily driver.
That's what I mean, yeah, it's just
So-
doing a job.
Yeah.
So it's,
The only way to keep it classic. Daily driver.
true enough.
And I'm telling you that now.
Just don't abuse it, just use
Yeah.
it.
Only sometimes try and throw it sideways out of a junction.
Not
Just to
every
remind
time.
it who's boss.
Yeah.
Did it come with any Coke?
Oh, unfortunately, times have changed.
Times have changed. No longer are you doing lines of Coke in a 190, you're probably selling it and trying to not look like you're selling it.
Yeah.
Kind of like Jesse in Breaking Bad where he buys like the old Toyota Tercel to hide the fact he's a drug dealer. That's kind of what you are now buying one of these. Nobody actually thinks of them as a drug dealer's car anymore.
No.
No crack.
No
But
crack.
Anyway, no crack.
Oh dear. No crack.
Anyway, so thank you very much for watching our bit of an unveiled video about our new 190. Be sure to follow myself and Connor on Instagram at Tom Patterson,
At Hughes Corporation.
and check out our camera lady on Instagram as well because she does artsy stuff and she stands out in the piss and rain recording us talking about cars. So I think the least we can do is give her a plug. So check her Instagram out too, and be sure to subscribe to our channel because we're really close to hitting, what is it now, 600. And to a lot of people that's probably not very much, but 600 is the largest size of Mercedes they sold in the 50s and 60s, I believe.
In the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
That would be a lot. So
Good for us.
big enough for Mercedes is big enough for us. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Well, next week, because we're actually doing these weekly now. It's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, good luck, and we'll see you later.
See you later on.